that I decided I was going to go on this path of woman, wife, mom. That's what it was. I'm a woman first. And so for me, it was activating that, it was cultivating that, it was remembering who I was, what makes me come alive, what makes me feel excited. And interestingly enough, it made my marriage super exciting. It was like, oh my gosh, who is she? She's so interesting. Yes, she's had children. Yes, we're here, but this is so exciting. And then as a mom, same thing. I'm very aware that I'm not drained in one area. And so when I am feeling out of sorts, it's often, I can tell like, oh, I'm way in that one role. So coming fully alive is like being super aware for me of woman first, wife second, mom third, for me.
We all come alive. This is the good life. Soak in the good life.
Welcome. Hi, Living Waters family. So glad you are joining us for another episode of Tea Time Tuesday. So today we have a few amazing ladies with us, and we're going to talk about what it means to be married or what it means to be single and how to live fully alive within that context, in that season that we're in. And so we kind of want to like break the myth that singleness is marriage is the arrival point for us becoming who we fully are. Like that's not true. The Lord has like placed so many things in us. And so often we watch women in marriage too, like lose their identity in that or in motherhood. And so we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit too. How do you maintain and like stay true to yourself in the midst of marriage and being like one with someone else? And so I've got some amazing women with us today. So how about we go around and just introduce ourselves really quick.
I'm Angie Rennick Hayes, and I've been married for coming on 23 years, and we have 8 children.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. Okay. I want to fist bump you.
Let's do it, girl.
Yes, I'm Megan Hovivian. I've been married for 25 years this year, and we have 4 kids. All grown.
It's incredible.
That's awesome.
Sadly.
Yeah. And I am Kim Butcher. Everybody knows that probably. And I am representing singleness. Everybody probably knows that as well.
I'm Chantel, and I'm also one of the ladies representing single life for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, let's get started. You guys ready to dive deep?
Yes.
So, yeah, what does it look like for you guys in whatever role? Or married, single? What does it look like for you to live fully alive in Christ, fully connected to the Lord, but then fully like true to yourself? Yeah.
Okay.
Kim just said okay.
You go.
Gosh, what a good question. I really do feel like, and I think some of the ladies could attest to this, that when you live fully alive, there really is, there's not a box that you put yourself in, which can be kind of scary. Because we put ourselves in boxes so that we do stay safe and we experience the things that we know and we're familiar with. Being a single woman, it's interesting. It's interesting to date like fully committed and loving the Lord. And what does that look like when you enter a relationship with someone else? And I'm just now learning that. I was married for 10 years and now I've been single for 6. And so just now starting to date on a regular basis, I'm really walking into what it looks like to live like and date with the Lord. And it's incredible. But it's so different. It's so different. Language is different, conversation is different. Expectations are different. And I feel like it's something that there really is like within the church that I'm finding is it feels like the cure for being single is being married, as if it is like a sickness or like a disease of some sort. And it's like, it's really not. Like, we're okay. Like, we really are. Like, we are okay. And I feel like that's kind of where it gets to. But then when you tell people that you're okay, they're like, okay, you're okay. You're all right. I can love you where you're at. And so I think with really living fully is being okay with where you're at, is a really big part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's the same thing. I mean, it's being content in where you are. That's something that I never was content, and I did think that marriage was the goal, and I wasn't going to be okay until I got there. Yeah. And so, I mean, everybody has heard the story, but just having an encounter with the Lord that brought me to intimacy with Him, which is a lot of dating Him, and just letting the Lord be involved in every part of my life. That has been probably the most significant thing about how to live fully alive. Yeah. But I also think too, for me, I think as a single person, me getting involved with families and being like saying yes to things where I feel like I used to hide from those things because I was single and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to be the third wheel, or, it's like, oh, there's the single girl with the family. And it's like, the Lord has just taught me, no, embrace those things and actually dive in and even learn about marriage, learn about family from my friends that are married. And that has actually taught me a lot about being fully alive and just being embraced into a family. Wow. So, yeah.
Yeah, and not feeling like you are like removed from friendships because of where you're at in life.
Yeah, I mean, you get to a certain age where everyone's married, and you're like, so it's just me and the 20-year-olds. That's not going to work, Like, I need to be okay with where my friends are that are my age that I'm hanging out with, and so that was a step I remember having to take and being like, no, I can go, and I can be a part of it and embrace their family and family things, and so
it's so much fun. I always want to hang out with family. Always. They're fun.
They're fun.
I'll hang out with your family.
I was gonna say, come on
I love your kids.
Come on over. They love you.
Oh man.
That's interesting. It's a great question. For me, something that I have learned to navigate is a few years ago, I just watched so many of my friends be in a place in their marriage where they were hearing or saying things like, where did you go? I can't feel you. Their spouse was saying that, like, we fell out of love. You're not the woman I married. And this made me so curious, like, what is it? Why is that a common theme? And why are people feeling that? And is it true? We can have all the reasons, but when we really dive in, I began to notice that it was, even in myself, that it's a displacement of those three things. So there's being a woman, there's being a wife, and there's being a mom for me. Being a woman means being in relationship with myself, with God, who I am, just the whole full part of me that you come into as you're growing into being a woman, single, and then you carry that over. And then you get married, usually. I did it out of that order, but mostly it's you get married and then you become a wife, and that's like another solid place, and then you become a mother often, or not, but in my case it was that way. And pretty soon, if you do not have clarity over what role is taking precedent, or what role you're consciously acting at, or what would be the wording, like what role I'm wanting to just have balance in, then one of them is going to take over, and it's oftentimes becoming a mom. And then the wife thing gets way up there too, and then your relationship with God and yourself is like, so I learned that I decided I was going to go on this path of woman, wife, mom. That's what it was. I am a woman first. And so for me, it was activating that, it was cultivating that, it was remembering who I was, what makes me come alive, what makes me feel excited. And interestingly enough, it made my marriage super exciting. It was like, oh my gosh, who is she? She's so interesting. Yes, she's had children. Yes, we're here, but this is so exciting. And then as a mom, same thing. I'm very aware that I'm not drained in one area. And so when I am feeling out of sorts, it's often, I can tell, like, oh, I'm way in that one role. So coming fully alive is like being super aware for me of woman first, wife second, mom third, for me.
And don't you think that I don't know, I've often wondered if I want to fully take advantage of my singleness in the fact that I get to learn that before I get into marriage or before I become, you know, I don't know that I'll have, I'm not having children of my own at this point, but that's maybe I'm a stepmom or something, right? And so, like, I think I want to take advantage of that because, I mean, how hard is that to do in marriage? Like, how hard is it to figure out who you are and really, like, even find intimacy with the Lord when you're in marriage?
I think for me, that's kind of how it worked out because I got married at age 20. And so, you know, I mean, as single women or even as now on into my 40s, you know, recognizing that idea that I am a woman first and that I have my own identity and growing into that. And we've grown into that together in marriage, which has been amazing. But I did it a little bit out of order because, of course, I got married first as a young woman and then grew into, and even just maybe in the last 5 or 10 years, grew into the importance of standing on my own 2 feet, having my own identity, you know, and how that affects married life and valuing each other, which is so huge. And going back to what you were saying about people falling out of love or, you know, this isn't the woman I married, or this isn't the man I married, and that type of thing, and maintaining that value of the other person, you know, but also the value of self, the value of time spent with the Lord, time spent cultivating, you know, a big buzzword right now is self-care, you know, but I think in the church, we as women tend to put that last, but when we're not taking care of ourselves, you know, things slip. And value is not placed in our own health and well-being, our own mental, emotional health, and then we're not valuing our spouse either because we're not taking care of ourselves, you know, so.
What was that shift for you where you were like, oh, I really need to grasp hold and like understand who I am? Because I got married at 22 and I'm like in that discovery of like, okay, what does it look like for me to be who I am?
I think the shift honestly was, you know, again, I got married young and then 9 months later got pregnant and started having kids, you know, and so honestly, the shift for me was as the kids got a bit older and my roles shifted there. But I think I just did things, of course, the Lord knows, and for me it was in order, but I think if I could talk to a younger woman and say, it's probably better, you know, to do it if you had your choice to do it, you know, where you are able to recognize for yourself that you're healthy, you know, your well-being is important, you're valuing your spouse, you're putting effort and time into cultivating that relationship as well. But for me, it was as the kids got older and my shift was more, you know, counselor, mentor as they become their own humans, and not, you know, caretaker and the 24/7 of babies and toddlers and that kind of thing. So the shift was there where I started to recognize, okay, I need to really look at myself, who I am, where I'm at with the Lord, and how God brings me into this next season of now I'm helping my children adult. I've shepherded them thus far, but how do I walk into the next season with them? And that started this process of me looking to find who I am, stand on my own 2 feet, ask the Lord, who do you want me to be right here, right now, you know?
Well, and I'm just like wondering, even with you, because I know that you took time before you even started dating. Was there like a shift where you found, I now know who I am with the Lord, and now God has said, it's okay to go that way, you know, because I think that there's young girls that are just like, hey, I want to date, but I think that you found something in the midst of your time with the Lord, and so I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I would love to. I would love to. I really did find, and you and I have talked multiple times about this, and it really is hard to be single when you're older, and especially when it's not a standard, which is what people usually will label it as. Like, okay, like, oh, you have a standard, so you won't date these, and that's why you're still single, because you have such a high standard, or...
Which is not a bad thing.
Which is not a bad thing. It really isn't.
But it's also, we have to check that with our friends. Yes. Because it could be a thing that keeps people away, it could actually be something good. Most definitely. Yeah. And even just having a list, you know, I had a list, and good-looking calves were on the list. They were on the list.
And I was like, okay, Lord,
Yeah.
if okay, I'm getting rid of the list. That means calves. That means all the things. Like, okay, I'm getting rid of it. And I really do think that's something that being married for 10 years, and then after my divorce, right toward the end of my marriage, I like radically fell in love with the Lord.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was incredible.
Yeah.
Love of my life for sure. But then it was the hardest season of my life.
Yeah.
Because I really did think I thought I knew who I was. Yeah. I had all the answers. I got married when I was 20 as well. And just thought that I knew what to expect, and I totally didn't. Yeah. And then when Jesus came in, he just really did blow everything up that I thought was anything. What marriage really was, what dating really was, who I really was, who women are, who men really are.
Yeah.
And it's incredible just the way that I can see people, but then also see myself. But I didn't start dating until I've been single for 6 years. And so I just recently, within the last year, like really made myself available. And the Lord even said, he said, okay, it's time to be available.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But through that time, through those first 5 years, it was hard because I thought there was something wrong with me. And because it was always this, not people trying to fix me, but they weren't okay with me being single.
Yeah. With you just being who you are.
Yeah, they just weren't. And so then I started to second guess, like, okay, well, should I be dating more than I am? And should I be, and even like my male friends, they were just like, like, gosh, Chantel, like, go out there and kill it. Like, have fun. And I'm like, I'm not looking for the same things that I was looking for before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it really is like, I could not be single. Kim could not be single, but it depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And it's not in the list. It's looking for somebody to spend your life with.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now knowing that it's not just about, obviously having community and having friends and families around you really does help keep you in line.
Yep.
And in check in a way that looks like community. It looks like further knowing who you are through even the people seeing things in you that maybe you didn't hear, or maybe that you're not necessarily like seeing or hearing from the Lord, because it's just like these little nuggets, these surprises, that come from community. And it's like what you had said, I think one of the hardest things is to be single because you feel like there's something wrong with you. And I've never felt like there was something wrong with me. I was afraid to go back into marriage not knowing who I was, because I knew how hard it was.
Yeah.
I tried to find myself in him, and that is a very dangerous place. And I now am, it's exciting, but it's still so hard, because still at 36 years old, and I am so nervous going on dates because I'm just like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't.
Yeah.
Like, how do you navigate through this? And it's so beautiful, because it really is. I couldn't do it without the Lord.
So cool.
I couldn't.
Yeah, and his leading, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like just really being in tune with what the Lord's giving you like grace for each season.
Yeah.
So that's so cool.
It's
I
very
also
cool.
think it's magnificent that you're so acutely aware and understanding, like, that doesn't change even in marriage. If you can hold that kind of curiosity and hold that kind of like, whoa, how to do this, and who do I become, and how do I do adventure and life with this person in this level of curiosity and unknowing. That's actually what makes marriage so interesting. And also what I love is that's actually what your partner is going to want anyways. They want this fully alive woman. And that's going to make them be like, whoa!
Confident in
Yeah.
herself
just
and not
in love.
because
and
of them.
Exactly. And it's like, that's what we're all longing for. Don't you love being with people who just feel exciting? And that's whatever your version is, even 25 years later, that's what's going to drive your marriage.
Yeah.
If you choose to go that route.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
For sure.
Thank
And
you for sharing that.
I think one of the keys too is finding the person who makes you better. Like I have watched my kids as they're young women now, you know, and men, and you know, talking through with them, like, don't just date someone because they fit the list or what have you. Does that person, does that human make you feel fully alive?
Yeah.
Do they encourage you to be the best version of yourself? I had a friend who got married, and her husband was, you know, didn't have a healthy family relationship and was kind of an introvert and just removed himself from any, you know, family. And we have a large bustling family that wants to be a part of everybody's life, and she withdrew with him, and it was like so clear to me. And they ended up getting divorced, and that friend ended up dating a man who is this adventurer and engages with family, and I see her now standing in that. And so I think it is so important.
So good.
Yeah, that person makes you the best version of yourself. I know for me personally that my husband has made me 1,000 times better just by knowing him, by growing with him, by loving each other, valuing each other, communicating, speaking each other's language, and recognizing you need this from me, and that is not natural to me, but I want to be better. I want to be, you know, deeper and more connected to you, and so therefore I will go outside of my comfort zone, outside of maybe what I would naturally do for the sake of being better, being more fully alive, and meeting you where you are. You know?
So good.
That's really good.
That's great advice. That's good.
Well, as we wrap up, is there anything that you want to leave the audience with? Like, as a single woman, what's something that you maybe want your married friends to know? Or as a married woman, what is something that you'd like single folks to know? Or ways that like people can support you?
I would like single folks to know that I feel like we need each other.
Yeah.
That you bring something to the table that is different than what I'm experiencing as 25 years into marriage, and it's fresh and it keeps us real, and it's like iron sharpening iron. We are rubbing off on each other, and as you are recognizing I have to be myself in order to date, and I'm challenged in that, you know, I want that type of community where it's not just cookie cutter and everyone looks like me. That's how you get, you know, cultish, or you get weird, right? You know,
Or just bland.
bland and
Uninteresting.
boring, and exactly, not exciting, but how we bring flavor to each other, we bring community to each other. And I know that it's hard sometimes, especially when you're, you know, an older single woman or man even, where you're like, I don't want to hang with them. I don't want to be the third wheel. I don't want to be having to stare in the face that they've been married for 25 years and I haven't, or what have you. But we need you. We need you.
And I would just say the same thing. Like, there's a lot of, you know, I don't know, I have a lot of alone time. And that is hard because I'm a very social person. And so I think that people think because you're single, you're probably just so busy. You've got all the things that you're doing. And I do go do things by myself a lot. But I want to get invited. I want to be a part of things. And I know my own boundaries, you know, so I know when it's too much and I can say no. But I've had to learn that along the way, of course. But I think just being invited into life is super important, and to not I guess like what you were saying, like we are okay, so don't feel sorry for our singleness, right? It's we're okay. You know, maybe not everybody that's single is okay, but I know for me personally, and I know you, that we've come to that place where we're like, I'm good. If I never get married, I am okay. I remember hearing like somebody ask me to say that one time, and I was like, I will never say that. I will never be okay if I'm not married. And they were like, that's where God wants to go with you. And I was like, oh no. You know, like that's the worst thing ever. But I remember you know, meeting the Lord in that place in my life and coming to that place where I'm like, whoa, I'm okay. If I never get married, it will make me sad. You know, I want to be married, but I am okay. So don't feel sorry for me in where I'm at in my life, but please invite me in. You know, I do want to hang out with people. I do want to, even if you have kids, like for some reason people think, oh, I've just got so many kids and that might be so annoying to you. And I'm like, I'll tell you if that's annoying. Like, I'm okay to
I
say.
won't come if I'm thinking
But I would love to even be included in that. And, you know, maybe I'm not there the whole time. You know, because it's a lot. I have a very quiet home. Yeah, you know. But I like being around noise. I like being around crazy kids, and I like getting goofy. Yeah, you know. So invite us in. That's what I don't know.
That's good. That's great advice. Yeah, that's really good.
Awesome. I would say I do not. It doesn't come to my mind to think when I see Kim's single. Yeah. Chantel's single. That is not. I don't register that, and so I would say. I'm so excited when I make a connection. I perceive you as you. I experience you as you. I do not go, oh, but we probably couldn't be friends because that is not how I roll at all. If I want to connect with you, which you know I do, and you, I'm like, let's hang, let's go on a walk, let's do these things. Yeah. So I would guess I would want you to know that like, that's not even on my radar. Yeah. I love you. And when I meet a new woman, I don't ask her, are you married? Yeah. That's weird.
So single isn't right here?
No.
Like, single.
No.
That's good to know.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, who is she? Yeah. And I think we need to start perceiving each other that way and experiencing each other. That's going to help all of us come alive. I think that is really important. That's why that question kind of baffled me for a second, because I'm like, gosh, I've never experienced anyone that way. Ever. I also wouldn't be like, oh, do they have kids or not kids? I'm just like, oh, who is she?
Well, because that isn't our identity, right?
No, it's
but
not.
I think that we have learned to label each other that way as
you're
our identity, and then it's like we're all trying to break out of that. Right. And being like, who am I? Yeah. Not as a single person, just as a person. Who am I? So that's really good. I like that.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, ladies. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies, for watching. I hope that you gleaned some wisdom and insight and just perspective that you maybe weren't aware of before. And so, this was so much fun. Yeah, I enjoyed.
Thank you for having
all of you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, it was such a pleasure.
Yeah.
So, yes,
sure is.
You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Sorry.